presentation without interference.
Okay, we are live, guys. Welcome everyone. It's the third pitch battle of technology entrepreneurship. So for those who don't know, it's an online program from Stanford and assistant professor Chuck Eesley, assisted by Spike Morelli. We think about you, Spike. Yeah, he's in China right now, and me and Dayan. And it's basically the combination of 3 months of online learning when team have to cover all the basis of the startup creation. And so this combination is a investor deck. So all the information required to invest, to convince an investor to invest in the startup. So all the participants had to vote for their peers, and the team behind the 5 most popular investor deck are selected right now to pitch in front of you and to potentially win the first prize, which will be a mentoring from Naguib, we just here. So thanks a lot everyone for your presence. We have Chuck Eesley, we have Naguib Sawiris. She is an entrepreneur. He co-founded MathCrunch, right? You want to say some word about it?
Yeah, thank you. So I wouldn't call myself an entrepreneur yet, but I'm slowly becoming an entrepreneur, learning a lot. Started a company called MathCrunch, which is now called yup.com. We're a marketplace that connects students with professional tutors. We've raised $7.5 million. We're at a point right now where we're balancing our CAC and LTV equation, something that I'm most likely going to talk about with the companies that are later down. And thank you very much for having me. Always enjoy meeting people and also just talking. So.
And we also have Paulo, who is one of our mentors. Thanks, Paulo, for being here. If you want to share some words, then we'll jump on check.
Thanks for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here, and I'm all excited about seeing all the pitches from all these potential startups. Good luck to everybody. And,
Thank you.
Thanks. And Chuck, if you have some words for the attendance.
Sure. So congrats to everyone on making it this far. And we've just had the Global Entrepreneurship Summit here at Stanford. So we had President Obama and also Mark Zuckerberg on the keynote panel, and lots of entrepreneurs from all around the world to share ideas about entrepreneurship. So it was really great program here, and you all, I feel, are part of this movement to bring technology entrepreneurship around the world. And just want to say a quick thanks to Yoni for putting this together, and Paulo for all the mentoring that he's done, and Naguib for being here as well early on a Saturday morning.
Thanks a lot, Chuck. So just a few basic rules before we start. So each team will have 5 minutes to pitch, not 1 second more. I know it's a bit harsh, but it's even harsher in reality. Most of the startup program, they cut you like that. And then it will be chained with 10 minutes of Q&A with Chuck, Paulo, and Naguib. And that's it. So the first team is Datanovo. I'm starting the countdown, and it's up to you guys. Let's go.
Okay. Let me just share with you the pitch deck. Okay. Can you see the presentation? Hello?
Yep.
Yeah, we can see it. Yeah.
Okay, I'll start now. Hi, I'm Chris with Datanovo. Anyone with knowledge about patents knows about the importance of prior art. Prior art is evidence that shows that an idea should have never been granted a patent. Prior art includes journals, books, brochures, PhD theses, ads, manuals, articles, and even devices. Here's an example of a prior art. This document, a quick start guide for a foreign device, was published in Sweden in 2004. It discloses swiping a finger on a mobile phone to answer a phone call. In 2009, Apple was granted a patent on this exact function. Apple then sued Samsung, alleging patent infringement. Samsung then spent several millions of dollars and found the Swedish prior art. This prior art helped Samsung overturn Apple's $1 billion judgment against it. In patent law, prior art is the smoking gun, but finding prior art is extremely difficult because it's hard to distinguish potential but relevant prior art. At Data Novo, we have solved this problem. By leveraging machine learning, artificial intelligence, and big data, we are able to identify the key invention in each patent. We then use that to match against more than 10 million prior art in our database. The result? We are able to find the best, most relevant prior art in seconds. And the best part, it's easy to use. Enter the patent number and see the results immediately. But we offer more than just prior art. We also offer AI and analytics for every patent, from analyzing new products for potential infringement and discovering potential licenses to identifying key patents for acquisition and verifying attorneys winning and losing records. We operate under a subscription model. Pricing structure is based on per use, per month, and per year. For one-time use, we charge about $3,000 compared to 5 to 7 times that amount charged by our competitors due to their inefficiencies. It's not surprising that patent litigation is very hot right now. In 2015, in the US alone, there were 1,900 patents challenged, 6,000 lawsuits litigated, 130,000 patents purchased, and over 600,000 patent apps filed. Each of these requires the submission of prior art. Based on our pricing structure, we could potentially bring in multi-billion dollars in annual revenue. Indeed, the serviceable available market is about $120 billion, and the total available is about $329 billion. Our competitive advantage is that we have the ability to provide analytics and prior art for multiple patents in seconds with optimal cost efficiency as compared to our competitors who are still using antiquated tools and human bodies to do the work. In all, we aim to be the one-stop shop for all things patent and generate revenue for every patent filed, issued, licensed, and litigated. Our team comprises of a panel of experts in AI, big data, and machine learning. We have 2 PhDs and 3 masters, and everyone is in either big data, AI, or computer science. One of our members is also a patent attorney with over 13 years of experience litigating and prosecuting patents. He was also named one of the top 50 IP lawyers in the country last month by the National Law Journal. Consider the following use cases. Companies use us to determine whether they have a case to fight on or settle in the face of patent threats. Startups use us to fine-tune their products to avoid potential infringement that might shut down their businesses. Inventors, they use us to discover what's old and invent what's new. Banks and investment firms holding IP as collateral can determine whether that collateral has value. And insurance companies use us to make risk assessment to price their IP products. Thank you for your time.
Awesome. 5 minutes. It's completely on the time. So we are opening the QA session. If you have some remarks, some comments, Chuck, Paulo, Naguib.
First of all, Christopher, great clarity of thought. I really appreciate it. You really, conveyed the company's product, team, market, quite clearly. So good job on that. Well, can we go to the pricing slide, if possible?
Okay.
So what I just wanted to understand, is this on a per head basis? Is it on a per search basis? What is this, the sort of second order, dimensions of the pricing structure?
Sure, let me answer that. let me answer that question. So in terms of pricing, we have different user segments, and so as a result, we have pricing for per use, per month, and also per year. And also for each one of those tiers, we also divide it by the number of users. So there is a pricing structure from 1 to 5, and then there's another pricing structure from 6 and up. So depending on the demand and the usage of each of the users, we have a different pricing structure. Because after all, not everyone needs to search for prior every week, or every month, in fact. So as a result, we have different pricing structure to accommodate different needs.
So you guys are like already generating revenue. You guys have customers, just to.
Right.
Okay, good. And do you have an understanding of your end-to-end sales cycle?
We do. Surprisingly, we have pitched to a couple of other places, and the consensus is that, at least for now, our target is really on universities and companies. Universities, because they have a lot of patents that are waiting to be monetized. And if Stanford clearly is one of those biggest players when it comes to asserting patent infringement against other competitors, other universities such as Carnegie Mellon or with University of Wisconsin, they have just won, what, a $725 million against Apple, or $325 million against other companies, or Marvell Semiconductors. And so when it comes to end users, hopefully I'll address your question sufficiently, is really we have different tiers, and universities is a target right now.
Have you guys raised any money?
We have not started yet.
And you mind me asking, like, how much, like, what's your current revenue run rate?
Very low. In fact, no one is taking any compensation, so our burn rate is very low. Low as in a couple of $100s. Okay. And because we're also generating revenue, that sort of accommodates a lot of other expenses. As a result, raising money is not an immediate priority, but I think perfecting the product is.
And what are the holes that you see in your product?
The role when you.
Sorry, the holes.
Oh, what are the gaps?
Aspects of your product that are contributing to churn.
Ah, I see. Probably, surprisingly, it's likely the ability. Probably it depends on how fast we can get the newest patents, because new patents are issued every week. And so I think when it comes to churn rate, people want to seek the newest patents. And so I certainly see a hole where if we can't get the newest patents, that people might get turned away, potentially thinking that we're outdated. But in fact, when you know AI and machine learning, sometimes it takes a few weeks to really learn the gist of every patent. And we really use AI and machine learning for everything that we do. And so depending on how fast we can perfect the system, in that sense, that's sort of associated with the churn rates.
Good, thank you.
So, congrats on all the progress up till now. This was a great, really smooth presentation. And I think I would, one piece of feedback, maybe I missed it because I'm still waking up here, but and the coffee's still kicking in. But I would, I would include a bit more. I also didn't realize that you guys already had paying customers, and that you had the product launched.
We literally just started last week or so. So we just started.
Okay. So how many users are there?
Previously, we have some beta users. Paying users, we have about 3 just from the past week or so.
Okay. Okay. So those 3, how many are universities and how many are companies?
1 universities and 1 companies and 1 individual inventors.
Okay. And what's been the feedback? Is it consistent across those 3 categories?
Yeah. So we did a lot of studies during the course of this class. What we found out is that what everyone is interested in knowing is potential licensee information, because it takes a lot of due diligence to go out and find who would infringe on your patents. And right now, there isn't really a tool to say, hey, I have this patent, who's infringing? There isn't really a way to find out unless you do your own due diligence and look at all the products available in the market. And so based on that need, we decided that we should focus on that feature alone. And then since then, these 3 people sign up just really specifically for that information alone. Because really, they would easily spend more than $3,000 to find that information. So we really help them cut costs and also reduce the time to find that same information.
Okay, great.
Paulo, any remark?
Yeah, it was a pretty good presentation. Pretty good concept too. The difficulty that I see here is really the technology, but probably even if the technology does not work, is not completely precise, probably you can accelerate the response time for looking for patents that overlap other patents. How precise are you guys focusing on any patent at this point, or being focused on a niche market?
As far as accuracy goes, Chris, maybe you need to share your screen a little bit. Hopefully we have another minute or two. If you go all the way down to slide number 22, maybe further. 23, I'm sorry, and 24. Yeah, click on that slide, and the one behind it. Yep, last one. Yeah, this one. So what we discovered is our accuracy is very good. Oh, I'm sorry. Can you go to slide 23? What we discovered is that 100% of the time we have the same results as those that have been traditionally filed with the court. And funny enough, if we were to look at our results entirely, we discovered that all our prior is the same, or at least for 76% of those patents, with the same prior as those that are found by human that are also submitted to the courts. And so in terms of accuracy, I think our AI and machine learning system is doing fairly well at this point. Certainly we would like everything to look 100%, but I think it's only going to be a matter of time. But the same prior as those that are found by human that are also submitted to the courts. And so in terms of Hello?
Hello? Yeah, it's okay. You can continue.
Okay. So I don't know if that addresses the question in terms of accuracy, but AI and machine learning are certainly 2 fastest growth technologies, and you know, it really depends on how many documents we can feed the system to perfect the knowledge. Of course, there's not going to be an absolute number when it comes to accuracy. I just don't know if there's going to be a 100% accuracy AI system out there, but certainly our goal is to maximize it and optimize it so that it's very accurate.
Are you guys focusing on a niche area of patents at this point, or all the patents that are out there?
Our focus right now is on the core technology, including semiconductors, mobile devices, and telecommunications, as well as bio and pharma. So those 4 areas are what we're focusing on, because really that's where all the patent infringement happens today. And so as a result, we want to focus on those patents and technologies only for now.
Okay, very good.
All right.
Thank you.
Any last question? We have 30 seconds. If it's okay, we'll chain with the second team. I think it's good. Well, thanks a lot, Datanovo.
Thank you. Thank you, Yoni.
Everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks. You can leave the chat. So the second team to present is woman entrepreneur. So the first team was about prior art and patent. The second team will be about donation marketplace. We'll see it. Woman entrepreneur. You are ready? Or they are muted.
Yes, I'm here. Astrid, are you
You're
there?
here? It's okay? You are ready, guys?
Yes. Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah, it's okay. It's showing. Okay, guys, 5 minutes. Let's go.
Astrid?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to get started.
Yeah.
Donating high-quality items to those in need shouldn't be hard. Yet, today, if you're a donor, your choice of what you could donate is often limited to smaller items such as clothes, food, or toys. But you have so much more you could give. Maybe a washing machine, a toaster, or a microwave. GiveIt USA is a not-for-profit online marketplace that connects donors with local nonprofit organizations for in-kind donation, for small items and especially large items. Imagine Jane, who is upgrading her kitchen and is replacing her old but perfectly good fridge. Jane knows that Goodwill doesn't take such large items, and nobody within her own network is interested. Christy, on the other hand, a social worker, occasionally has clients that could make use of a fridge. However, Christy and Jane are not connected, and even if they were, the associated storage and transport logistics costs are a barrier. Unfortunately, this is a very common situation. Our customer research indicates that many nonprofit organizations rely on personal friends and network and Facebook to source in-kind donation items that are specific to each case. It is limited in reach, it's not scalable, and the lead times can be very long, and logistics to pick up and deliver items can cost more than $10,000 per year. As such, many nonprofits are hesitant to request or accept larger items, and they feel that they're not able to serve their communities as well as they want. Our solution is to provide an online marketplace that connects the donors and the nonprofit organizations. This increases their reach, is more scalable, and helps reduce their lead time. We address the logistics challenges by partnering with logistics companies who provide in-kind transportation of items. We also create a virtual warehouse to alleviate the storage constraints. Here's how it works. The GiveIt donation platform works for both nonprofit organizations and donors. On one side, nonprofits can either enter an item request into the GiveIt database, or they can browse the GiveIt virtual warehouse for potentially useful items for their clients. On the other side, donors can either browse the GiveIt database for potential charitable donations, or they can list their items along with a specific hold duration to the GiveIt virtual warehouse. For every successful match, we charge the donor $2 tax-deductible fee. Let's take a quick look at the market size. There are 1.6 million nonprofit organizations in the US, and 87 million households who donate in the US each year. If 1% of the household donate through the GiveIt platform, it will create $1.7 million revenue for GiveIt per year. This revenue could meet a good portion of the annual operating cost of GiveIt. To reach nonprofit organizations, we plan to introduce GiveIt by giving a demo at the Inbound conference to get early interest, with an MVP launch at the Social Good Tech Week. To reach the donors, we will use social media such as Google AdWords and Facebook ads. We will also need to develop strategic partnerships with companies such as FedEx and UPS on storage and shipping. Here's our team. I'm Florence, and my leadership partner is Astrid. I have a PhD in engineering, and I'm a digital strategist. And Astrid is a talented businesswoman and serves as an ambassador for various social organizations. We have identified a couple of future key hires, including a manager of logistics partnerships, a manager of nonprofit relations, and a development engineer for the platform. We're also very fortunate to have a very strong team of mentors, which include Juliet Wright, the CEO and founder of GiveIt in Australia. We have Benson Young and Norris Kruger. Both are experienced entrepreneurs. Thank you for listening to our pitch. Together, we can improve in-kind donation and create a resilient community through GiveIt USA. That's it.
Thanks a lot, Florence. It's time to ask some questions and give you some feedback. Chuck, Paulo, Naguib.
Yeah. So what experiments have you guys done so far with potential donors?
Yep, I can take that one. So we actually have interviewed quite a few donors, and also we have interviewed the nonprofit organizations. We have interviewed 7 nonprofit organizations, and we've done about 12 donors. We also did some contextual immersion for both donors and also nonprofits to understand how their day-to-day life is.
and could you actually do a few runs of donations to see how it all works out?
We have not done that, but we could. That will be certainly one of the next steps.
Yeah. I think that'd be good to do. I mean, this is something that you could really test even without building out the MVP. To just run through a few cases of giving donations and seeing how much work's involved just doing it offline. I think that'd be a really valuable learning experience, and also kind of validate that beyond saying that they're willing to do it, people are actually willing to go through you guys to make a donation.
Yes, I agree. In Australia, actually, so GiveIt is already implemented in Australia. So the idea really is to try to see if it will work in the US. And in Australia, it has been pretty successful. Obviously, the demographic can be different in the US, and that's something that we need to test. And I like your suggestions, and we're going to do that. Thank you so much.
So
thanks. Hi guys. I'm sorry, just to let you know that the actual OAP was playing in the background while Florence was presenting, so I could not talk. Like I could not say anything. It would have really interrupted.
Okay, you are here. You are here, Astrid. Welcome.
Yes. Hi. And thank you, Florence. I wasn't about to interrupt you because it's better that we had the flow. Just to add to that. In terms of the run, there's a huge focus on disaster response with GiveIt Australia and within the industry as well. It's a very, very viable niche. It's a niche that is attracting both grants, investments from FedEx Foundation, from UPS Foundation globally. And this in terms of the donor charity match, it's a niche that we would want to continue the way GiveIt Australia has.
We have some remarks from Paulo and Naguib.
Just one thing for you guys to think about: when building a marketplace, you always have to fake one side first. Very similar to when you run an experiment, you have to have a control. So in this case, which side do you think you will want to first control to start learning whether there's like liquidity in the marketplace that you guys are creating?
So I'm gonna have a stab at answering this question. Astrid, feel free to add if you want. I would start with the nonprofits, because I think really the GiveIt is serving the nonprofits. The pain point is on the nonprofit side. They don't have storage constraints. They're constrained with storage. So if we can start with them and kind of like play out how it would work if someone wants to donate a fridge, for example, and just work out the flow, I think that can help us identify some of the other potential challenges that we need to address.
You know, Florence, like counterintuitively to me, in our case, we take the tutor end. Our tutors aren't actually coming and going whenever they want. We've got at least 100 tutors who are working indirectly full-time to serve our students. But I think in your case, it actually makes more sense that you guys sort of work closer with the charities first, since that's where the biggest pain point. So I do think that you're right in your thinking to serve our students. But I think in your case,
Naguib, you can continue. We have some.
But I was saying that I think that it makes sense that you'd go ahead and control that end of your marketplace, and starting off with them. We started off with our students, in the sense that we controlled the tutor side of the marketplace. You guys are starting off with your donors, and then you're hopefully that will just organically bring in individuals who are either looking for items or giving items.
No, definitely, and the logistics issues really start with the charities, especially the storage issues. start with the charities, and they get very, very frustrated, may go inactive if the logistics issues are not dealt with as well. So yes, that in terms between, because donors, it's easy to be able to pledge, but for charities, they're the ones who have to really get the item and be able to distribute it to the disadvantaged community. So definitely, they would be the focus.
And just one quick point. I don't know if I'll get a chance to speak to you guys again, but I just shared a link. These guys are my neighbors. I live in a like my house is one block. It's actually attached to that community thrift store. One of the biggest community thrift stores in San Francisco.
Be able to distribute it to the disadvantaged community. So definitely, they would be the focus.
So if you guys want to email me, I'll try to make an introduction to one of the guys who works at the community thrift store that I know, and then you guys can just actually ask him, hey, so we're building this, here's a demo, would you use it? That's a very real sort of feedback loop for you guys.
Yeah, I would appreciate the introduction. And when we did our customer research, we also reached out to nonprofits, and we actually have a prototype that we could demo to them. So first we try to understand what are the pain points, and then at the end of this interview, we show the demo, and the response has been very good. They were actually very excited, and they were saying, why don't we have this in the US already? And I have comments like, this is going to spread like wildfires. Obviously, of course, the details is the one that's going to be like, that needs to be sought out, but initial response seems positive.
I would, in the interviews, not treat it as an interview, treat it as a sales pitch. So just go in and say, hey, we have this built, would you sign up in the next couple of weeks? And if they say yes, then make sure you build it very quickly. But sometimes when you take too much of an academic standpoint, you lose very valuable information.
Thank you. I like that feedback. Thank you.
Thank you, Naguib.
Thanks. And any last remark from Paulo?
Yeah, one quick question. Can you guys test the model using the Give It Australia app?
Yeah, I think that could be a possibility. Actually, that's one of the advantages that we'll have is Juliet Wright actually say if we want to launch it in the US, she's happy to let us leverage the existing platform that she has. So I think that is certainly a possibility. Now, there's probably some stuff that we need to tweak, like localization and regionalization and so on, because it's designed for Australia, you know, zip code and that kind of thing when you enter address. But I think those are addressable.
Yeah, but for a quick test, probably you don't need to modify a lot.
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
I think thank you. The only difference would be, I know Give It Australia, they don't have, well, we didn't go over this, but the fee structure that we had, we actually do have transaction fee structures in our business model that is different from Give It Australia, but that would be the only difference, really.
Yeah, that is a very good point, Astrid.
So okay, they don't have a fee in Australia?
Yeah, they are not allowed to charge a fee because of the law there is different. If they charge the fee, the matching fee, then they become reliable. I mean, they become liable for the matches. So if the items like the microwave explode or something, then they will be liable for that because they charge a fee. In the US, we have seen other, you know, we believe that this is not an issue, but this is something that we need to look more into it.
Okay, that's it. Thanks a lot, Fiona and Florence.
Thank you.
You can leave the room.
Very much. Okay.
Thank you.
And now it's the third team. It's Track Talent. Fiona, Carlos, JP, Samuel. Tell us when you are ready. You can unmute yourself and you can start to pitch, okay? Fiona?
Sorry, I'm here. I can't, on the live hangout, I can't see how to share the screen. That's my problem.
You have a screen share button on the left.
Yeah, sorry. I can see it now on live one. Okay, got it. Thanks, guys.
Okay, it's okay.
Is it okay?
Let's go, guys. 5 minutes.
You can see me, yeah?
Yeah, I can see you.
Thank you. We're thrilled to have the opportunity to tell you why Traxcellent is the pet tracking solution. So I'll get started. Max Levchin, PayPal's co-founder, said something earlier this year about unstoppable trends changing the world. He talked about beneficence, the doing of good, active kindness, and he said, build something that impacts the world for the better. I'll say that again because it really resonated with us. Build something that impacts the world for the better. How many people here have had a pet go missing? Many of you will have known a lost pet. Either you own your own or someone else's pet. But considering 1 in 3 pets goes missing in their lifetime, the chances are you'll probably be aware of the dread that hits you as you realize your pet's gone. That's where we come in. Traxcellent believes that no one should ever have to go through that stomach-twisting feeling again. By attaching our easy-to-use pet tracking device to the pet's collar and syncing it with our simple mobile app, no one need ever be more than a few clicks away from knowing the precise location of their pet. Our extensive market research identified that the majority of pet owners weren't even aware that pet trackers existed, but perhaps more surprising is that those consumers who did know and who'd bought one were overwhelmingly unhappy with their purchase. Some of you might be aware that one pet tracking company, which shall remain nameless, was acquired earlier this year for $117 million US. Yet over 1/3 of their product reviews on Amazon were just 1 star. Whilst there are many pet tracking devices on the market, there's still no clear market leader. It's an industry estimated at nearly $1 billion US, and 2016 is being dubbed the year of pet wearables. We see this as an opportunity to launch in the 4th quarter of this year with a white label product to gain a small market share, but primarily to gain valuable input from real customers, feedback that will be used throughout the design of our own proprietary device, which we'll release in the 3rd quarter of next year. Whilst our proprietary device will offer all the Bluetooth, Wi-Fi and LTE solutions, we're aiming to be the first pet tracker ever to make full use of existing microchip technology already implanted into millions of pets worldwide. These current microchip implants are only used for identification and don't transmit a location. Traxcellent is looking to change that. We're aiming at incorporating a scanner that would effectively turn these existing microchips into GPS trackers. Plus, we're already working on a fully implantable Bluetooth pet tracking device. Given the continued encouragement and in some cases legal enforcement of having your pet microchipped. We additionally have ideas for a full GPS implantable, and this unique approach will build barriers to entry second to none. Traxcellent believes that every pet needs an affordable tracking device, and we intend to only make a minimal margin on the device itself and to obtain the majority of our revenue through multiple data plans and upsells. Monthly subscriptions are commonplace, but we'll additionally be one of, or possibly the first, pet tracker to offer a pay-as-you-go model. But what's really critical for the success of Traxcellent? The team. A global team with global experience to solve a global problem. My background is merchant banker from London, MBA from the University of Cape Town, entrepreneur in South Africa, and I've started and sold 2 businesses. Carlos is from Sweden, a software engineer, sold a business to a listed company 15 years ago and is now living the American dream in Silicon Valley. Samuel's background is in sales, marketing, and manufacturing. He started his first business when he was just 15 years old and relocated to China over a year ago. JP is Canadian, a computer engineer, and is completing his PhD in robotics, a very bright cookie indeed. The problem is well documented. Our solution is ready, our differentiation creates real barriers to entry and allows us to craft unique marketing messages. The scale is self-evident, and our Traxcellent team is unbelievably passionate. Oh, and by the way, since I started speaking 5 minutes ago, at least 100 dogs have gone missing in this world. Only 10 of those will ever be reunited with their owners. Max Levchin said, build something that impacts the world for the better. Traxcellent is doing just that.
Thank you, Fiona. That was a really great presentation, and you had a really good style, so I appreciate that.
Thank
One
you.
thing that you didn't talk about, and I just would like to hear your thoughts, and it's fine
Mhm.
considering how, how early in the process you guys are, is just how are you guys going to do distribution? Are you guys going to be, for your first $2-3 million of revenue, let's say, is it going to be driven mostly by online sales? Are you guys going to try to put yourselves on like the pet store or, on the shelf of Walmart? How do you see yourselves pushing out the product?
Well, we do have, I mean, obviously we were constrained to 5 minutes in that presentation, but we do have a full handout that we're going to be giving out at the end of this, and it does include information on that particular question. What we've talked about in marketing and sales channels is that initially we want to be online purely, and we're looking for the market to dictate to us which geographical location we should then be spending money to do some sort of offline distribution. Obviously there's the potential to sell through veterinarians, pet shelters, kennel clubs, and all of that sort of thing, but that's quite an expensive exercise. So the idea is originally to go online, to look at things like Google, Facebook, Twitter, just really primarily an online campaign. And once we see some sort of traction in a geographic location, whether it's the US, whether it's India, whether it ends up being here in South Africa, we can then hone in on that and say, right, we've got some interest, let's spend a bit of money offline as well.
Yep, thank you.
Okay.
So tell me a little bit more about the technology. You mentioned a scanner for the existing RFID, but then in the future working on a Bluetooth device. How would the scanner work with the RFID, and what's the limitation that's causing you to want to move to Bluetooth?
The scanner device is really is primarily the concept there is that there are so many dogs. I believe in the US, I think it's only about 5% of pets are microchipped. But if you look at Europe, for example, in England now, in the whole of the UK, not that that's Europe anymore, but if you look at the UK, it's compulsory now for all pets to have this RFID in it. Every pet has to be chipped. And yet it's not. It's only an identifier. If a dog gets found, it then has to get taken to a vet or a shelter who then scans it and identifies, and it goes back into the database, and then someone can say, yes, this is your dog. What we've identified, 40% of pet wearables out there are RFID chips, and no one on the pet tracking side is yet using that as a sort of a target market. Our feeling is if we can create a scanner that can scan multiple different types of microchips, it just gives us an advantage over anyone else. It gives us that particular target market that no one's after. It gives us a direct link into a sector of the market who's already spent money on technology for their dog. And the scanner would be something that they do a once-off scan on their dog, but then they could also use that to scan a dog that they found, for example. So it just brings it into a sort of more personal space to have a scanner, and then the dog can be identified through that rather than having to be taken to a shelter. Ideally, what we're wanting to get to is a replacement of that RFID chip in the first place, is to actually create an injectable GPS. And we feel an interim measure would be a Bluetooth device. That's something that we feel could be done quite quickly, is to create a Bluetooth injectable that will effectively locate your dog within a sort of fairly small radius, but ultimately we want a GPS in the dog itself long term. So it's a progression of product. And the first thing would be to go to get a scanner in the existing tracker, and then we progress from there.
Great. That's helpful. So again, is there some way? I mean, it seems like the European market would then be an obvious one to hone in on and target, rather than the U.S. where only 5% are microchipped. So I wonder if there's a particular, a large veterinary school or veterinary hospital where you could do some kind of pilot program with the RFID scanner to see you know, if you can generate some data on, you know, higher rate of recovery of pets just with that small community, that data might then be helpful to then you know, help to market the product and move forward.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's an excellent idea. Thanks for the feedback there. What we've done so far in South Africa is to have several meetings with high-profile veterinarians, just in terms of, you know, what was always the stumbling block with finding a GPS tracker for a dog was trying to find battery life for 15 years, which obviously is a bit ludicrous. So we've gone the route of trying to change the kinetic energy of the dog into, you know, to power the chip so that it would last for 15 years. But in fact, what we've come back to, talking to these veterinarians, is very much that because it's inert, you could effectively inject the dog once a year, and it wouldn't and leave the other 14 in there if it lasts 15 years. It wouldn't be an issue, apparently. So really what we're just looking for is a battery life of 1 year. And you know, the way the battery industry is moving at the moment, the pace that's moving, and the printable batteries, thin film batteries, you know, we're feeling very confident that within a year or so, 18 months, that we may well be able to do a full-on GPS and give it a battery life of a year, and then the dogs just get injected once a year. Now, if it's, you know, certainly the UK would be a brilliant market to start in. South Africa is another one where it's very, very high incidence of injection. Australia is also compulsory, I believe. And you know, I can't help feeling that that it's going to come in the US. It's just one of those things that just, certainly I think one of our team members, JP, was saying in Canada, there's certain states have got specific registration for dogs now that has to happen. So it's a process that we believe is it's just going to grow in terms of the market, we believe. One of our team members, JP, was saying in Canada.
Sorry, I can't quite hear on the audio.
Okay, did you get hold of? I was just saying that I think that despite the fact that at the moment America's only got a sort of 5% take up on this product, our belief is that it will follow suit with the rest of the world, because that's the way. And certainly, if we were able to be the first to market with a fully injectable GPS version of the chip, it would be a no-brainer for people in the US to start picking up on that and actually having that for their dogs, rather than doing the interim identification route at the moment. So yeah, it's a market that, whilst it looks like UK, Australia, South Africa could be a great initial market, once we've got that final injectable GPS, then that's something that we believe would sell very well in the US. We've had some good feedback from market research.
So one other just quick piece of feedback, I think both for this presentation and for the last one, I realize it's short with just 5 minutes, but it'd be good to get a little bit more of the voice of the customer, the voice of the potential user. A few points in there or something to demonstrate a little bit more how passionately they feel the need.
Yeah, sure. Okay. No, we've got that. So yeah.
So let me come in. I can take a good example of this. If I take one of the people that I have interviewed here in the US, I went to dog shelter, and one of the people working there, once she found out about one of these tracker vendors, she got one because her mother said this could be something good. She had really big problems trying to find out how to use it in the beginning. The user experience wasn't that good in order to start using the tracker. But once she knew how to do that, it was awesome. She felt this is so good, and she started actually promoting this on Facebook to all her friends. So what happened is that she actually turned into a marketing channel due to the advantage that had. The customer solution that this company had for her wasn't good enough, and she said that as soon as we will launch our product, she wants to get touch of that as soon as possible, and she also will help us to promote that, because we found out some missing keys that we will try and put in our solution. So to answer your question, the customers, they have experienced today a big need, and they want to share this with every pet owner they know.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. Great presentation. I would just change a tiny little bit in the very beginning. You start with saying that we should do something that is great and so on. I would strip that part and start right away talking about the pets and the tracker. So we get right on focus on what you are doing, and we move forward. Then one and at the end, same thing. Ending with the dogs that disappeared, that went missing, was very good. But then you add again the little extra bit, and it just lose the value that was there right before. One part where I got a little bit lost is while you were talking about the product, there was like multiple different products that you want to build one after another probably, or they are alternative types of technology that you are looking at. I would focus on the initial product and push that one. So an example would be like Apple trying to sell the first iPhone and talking already about the future capabilities of the next one and the next one. People start saying, oh, I'm just going to wait for the next one to come. Why don't you build just the extra features?
Yes. Yeah, no, I see. I get your point. Absolutely. Thanks for that. That's really good feedback. Thank you.
Okay.
I
don't know.
Just quickly, oh, sorry. Short feedback on or comment on that. So the reason when we are launching in this end of quarter this year, it's with a new tracker that we know that there are so many tracker vendors out there, their customers will need to buy a new tracker. We can explain that offline, why, but we know that within less than 1 year, most customers will need new trackers. And that's where we're going on with the first simple solution that exists already. And during this time, while evaluating the market, the customers, we have time to pivot and pivot and pivot on the different technology solution that we will end up with. We have one suggestion right now we're working with, but during that time, it's enough time to change and get one of those different technologies that Fiona mentioned. You say there were many, but those are the ones we are evaluating on our final. As she said, we will launch later after half year next year, so we have enough time to evaluate and decide. But I really appreciate what you say. It's really valuable. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I think just to reinforce the comment there, I think it's great to have these ideas in the background. But as Paulo mentioned, when you're presenting, I would pick the one that you're going to do and just focus the presentation on that.
Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you.
The other side, I lost the part of the pitch. Another question that was running in the background was the pricing for the product. There was lots of discussion of making it as cheap as possible. Is still going on, and why if there is a high demand for this new type of product, why starting with a low price, which will make it harder for the company to bootstrap?
We're looking primarily to be a service company. It's about software, it's about service, it's about user experience. The hardware product itself initially is something that we believe if we're going to white label our initial product, we're not looking to make a huge margin on that initially, because we just want customers and we want feedback. We want to know that what we build as our own proprietary product is the result of what the customer wants. So the initial, we don't want to have to compete on price in terms of going out there and being incredibly expensive and having that as a barrier to people choosing us initially. And in all honesty, I think, dare I say it, we'd even consider giving away a free device if we could get someone to sign up for a certain time.
Unfortunately, we're out of time. I hate to cut you off there, Fiona, but we've got to move on to the next presentation.
Yep, no problem at all. Thanks, guys. And there is a handout on the website. We're gonna stick a handout on the website which has got answers to a lot of the questions.
Great, great. Thank you guys very much, and congrats on the progress so far, and good luck moving forward. All right, so I think Yoni has lost audio. So if the next team can go ahead and start, I think that'd be great.
All right, Mary. We cannot hear you, Mary.
Mariana, you have to unmute yourself. So on the top.
Hello.
Oh,
Okay. So, what is BIES? BIES is a next generation QVC meets Twitch TV. Why should BIES exist? A Forbes review of failed businesses concluded, on the surface, businesses fail because they run out of cash, but the underlying reason is they don't connect with their customers. Only 12% of businesses feel they are using social media effectively, while 74% of consumers depend on social media to guide their purchases. And by 2020, consumer experience will overtake price and product as the key brand differentiator. So businesses need more than a sales portal. They need an audience, a community, and buzz. And what about from the consumer point of view? Currently, online purchases are made through sales portals with limited information available. So customers need to go through multiple browsers to gain information about what they want to buy, and much of it is outdated. It's time-consuming and frustrating. 45% of US customers abandon an online purchase if they can't find a quick answer to their question. So the fundamental problem with current online transactions for consumers is you don't really get to see what you're buying. Finding the right quality new product is time-consuming, and information is not available all in one place. So consumers need real-time community interaction, they want how-to explanation, and they want a community they can trust to give recommendations. And we've got a short video to show where BIES comes in.
Are you a hunter for the new, the unexpected, and the wow? You're not alone. BIES is a new platform for innovation lovers while also growing innovative businesses. Unlike crowdfunders, we only feature products and services curated for quality and the wow factor, ready to be shipped right now. More than just selling, we create a unique shopping experience via live streaming entertainment, an exciting trifecta of new music, new acts, and new inventions. We partner with businesses so that their innovative products gain instant traction in the marketplace. BIES, we create the buzz.
So what does BIES offer? BIES is an interacting shopping community that renews the shopping experience for businesses and consumers. By incorporating a sales transaction into community live-streamed events, we provide more than a sales channel, but a means of entertainment, a live interaction with consumers, and a ready and engaged market for businesses. Here's our competition. BIES takes inspiration from QVC, a successful TV shopping network, but we're updated for the online consumer and create an online community. BIES stands out from crowdfunders by having ready-to-ship, curated, high-quality products. BIES also stands out from sales platforms such as Shopify by providing more than just transactions, but an interactive experience. Now, the emerging tech market has great revenue potential and is growing at a rapid rate, so this is where we're going to start. For instance, drones and 3D printing revenue are growing at 52%, connected home at 32%, and Ultra HD TV at 132%. So while the global consumer electronic market is $1,074 billion, the US emerging consumer electronic market we plan to target is $10 billion. While this is growing 100% year on year. So of that, we consider a conversion rate of 3% as reasonable. Using BIES sales transaction fees of 9%, we start with an initial market share of 2.7 million in the US. Over time, we could expand into this and other markets. So what are our next steps? We are building a working prototype along with a YouTube community channel by the end of this year. In order to do that, we seek the following support. We need board members and long-term advisors and mentors. We want some funding to build our prototype and marketing funds to build an online presence via integrated social media channels. And here's a little bit about our team. So we've got Rohit Chaub, the handyman, Edsel Tolentino, rockstar marketer, Himanshu Bandari, the thinker, Albel Cruz, the sales guy, and me, the cyborg geek. We all have great experience. So we've got technical experience, we've got a marketing director, we've got a PhD, and we've got heaps of tech guys. So we're really ready to go. And lastly, we want to thank the amazing educational team, the professors, assistants, mentors, and everyone else involved. And we've had an amazing journey so far. We'd really love to continue it with your help. And we're open to your questions. Thank you.
All right, so questions, comments? Naguib, Paulo?
So, you know, one of the questions that I keep bringing up is, assuming we do build the MVP and build one that is very clean and easy to use, how are you going to get people to it in the first place? Have you spent time discussing your strategies around that?
Yes. So what we're trying to do is actually target the community of innovation lovers, so the people who would really love to share experience about building a robot. There's a whole bunch of maker communities, for instance, but there's not an integrated community in one place that's live, so we can start by doing that. And I'm really familiar with this community because I'm in it. So there's a bunch of designers, makers, robot builders, and people who just love gadgets. They're also the kind of people who would invest in Kickstarter or Indiegogo in the tech field. So we understand our market really well. What we want to do is build a YouTube channel. It's low cost. We want to make great videos for those people and get their feedback and build from that. Then we'll have an integrated social media marketing campaign with and sales will come after that. So we just want to build a presence. We want to build the marketplace, get to know these people, gain their trust, and really engage with the community and have fun with them. That's the idea. Have I answered the question?
Yeah, but I just want to make sure I understand. You're going to start off by hitting the forums and the communities that you're already on, followed by creating a low-cost YouTube channel that you believe will have very sort of attractive content. And then after you've established a base of early adopters of your website, you're going to, go on a traditional social media marketing campaign.
Yeah. In addition to that, I want to add the other thing we want to do when we build our prototype is actually, so we've got a two-pronged attack. We want to actually go to growing businesses and use their own markets, their own audience to provide a service for launch parties. So let's say they're having a launch event and they want to stream it live and do online sales. We can provide that service. Then we're still connected to the business and to the marketplace.
Have you guys spoken to different businesses already?
We have, yes.
And
yes, we have.
You guys have an idea of who your favorite business, favorite product, your wish product that you want to push out first would be?
So anyone, the kinds of businesses that we've been talking to are people who are on Kickstarter or on Indiegogo who are selling new products such as drones or any kind of innovative product. So they're the people that we've been talking to.
Yeah, mostly technology. Something that involves technology
yeah.
I'm just trying to get an idea of like the day one story. So like in my case, it would be like a 13-year-old student gets connected with a tutor who's a teacher somewhere in a different state, and they will get help on an algebra problem. So in your case, we will connect with this new interesting watchmaker who's creating a watch using the special projector, we're going to throw. I'm just trying to get a very sort of specific product business that you think will be ideal for the launch, as opposed to the broad category.
Do you mean like a specific product that's on
your radar.
Indiegogo now, or is
a specific product that is on your radar right now that would lend itself for the launch in 6 months, for example?
Oh, okay. We haven't thought of one particular company that we're targeting, but I know, like, for instance, there's BioRing, who's on Indiegogo right now, who are just making a Fitbit that fits on your ring. There's the earplug translator, and I'm sorry I've forgotten the name, but I'd love to speak to those guys. You know, there's a ton of stuff. So I look at Indiegogo pretty much every day, and I can't pick one. There's exciting stuff coming out every day. So I mean, there's a ton of stuff on there.
Got it. And to make sure I understood you throughout your presentation correctly, the two dimensions that make you different than traditional crowdsourcing sites are, one, the products that will be featured on your guys' site are ready to ship, and number two, you will also host the live event, or you will have more marketing and more promotion with the launch as opposed to just a traditional one-pager.
That's right, yes. So, yeah, and it would be an interactive experience. So you could demonstrate how the product works, build a robot while you've got consumers watching, and they can ask questions, and it can be an interactive experience. We can also, what we also thought of experimenting with is having community-driven channels, so they can, with or without sales, where they just interact and have like a maker community driven channel.
You know, like, I really think there's something exciting there in the general area that you guys are discussing, but I think there's so many nuances to how you could do that. Take, for example, having a live Q&A. I think that actually makes lots of sense, especially considering where we are at right now with people's comfort levels with just live streaming and asking others questions online, to have that being the specific focus. Or having, you know, you mentioned something along the lines of a concert or music. But my point is figure out which, you know, like your first 20, 30 promotions, what nature are they going to be, as opposed to having like 6, 7 different ideas around that, because it will determine your success picking the right sort of method of promotion that differentiates you from other sort of crowdfunding sites.
Yeah, I think just to follow up on that quickly, you know, I think focus is really important for a startup. And I was pretty confused, actually, through most of the presentation because it was so broad and so general. I picked up maybe 4 or 5 different potential startup ideas in there. So the conversation with Naguib started to help me understand the area that you guys are trying to focus on, but I think there still needs to be a lot more narrowing down. And, you know, through the customer interviews and interaction, kind of narrow down in a very specific product in a very specific market. And that focus is going to help you take the next concrete, tangible steps toward actually testing.
But and it's part of the process. So, you know, you shouldn't be discouraged. But to Chuck's point, it is important to get as narrow as possible and also have a very strong thesis along the way. So, you know, and I think you guys did a very good job when you were sort of narrowing down what market segment in terms of products that you guys want to reach. You said basically, you know, up and coming technology products for geeks. That's pretty narrow. You could have gone one layer further. That's great. Doing the same sort of exercise, but instead of it being around the market or the product that you want to sell, it being around specifically what are the levers, what are the features of your site that will create the most differentiated value And I think a very good sort of control would be the crowdfunding sites. So this is an exercise that we do at EUP, is we find our closest competitors, the companies that we think are capturing the customer behavior that we want, and then we just try to be as focused as possible and find one thing that differentiates us from them and doing that thing remarkably. And I think what I'm excited with what you're saying, and I do think that there's something there, especially since I've been seeing lots of companies in the Valley talking about it, is a different online shopping experience with live promotion. So, these sort of companies emerge in trends, and I do think that there's something very exciting there. For example, telling even us, hey, you guys have a mobile online tutoring subscription service. We will hold a 2-hour session for you. We promise you guys that we're going to have 20,000 or 30,000 parents watching you, and you're going to give a live demo, and you're going to sell. And then afterwards, we're going to have a special promotion price. And for those 2-3 hours where you're live talking about your product, answering questions from potential customers, since we brought these 20,000 parents onto your site, we get a cut. Now, I'm not saying this is what you guys should go for at all. What I'm trying to say is trying to dilute the broad narrative across as many different aspects of your company into one simple thesis.
Yep, thank you. That's great feedback. Yep.
Yeah,
Yes,
I'm sorry. I would add one more point. I would build a small prototype, even just a sketch, to start showing to people. So if you have doubts between what would work out, you just create a simple sketch, show to people, and they will tell you, yeah, I would like to join more this or that. And you have to do that with people that would be willing to showcase their products there, and people that would be the actual buyers.
Yeah, we actually do have a prototype wireframe that we started with. We didn't have time to present it, but we have actually thought through some of the basic functionality. But yes, we can. I think we definitely need to build a prototype and test it out. Yeah.
Great. So thank you very much. We're out of time. So to move on to the next team. Thank you all.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
So whenever you guys are ready, feel free to go ahead and start.
Okay. So here we are. Welcome to a live food adventure. Have you ever seen those tempting homemade food pictures that people posted on social media, and you almost drool over your screen and wish to even have a little bite? You are wondering how some people are so talented that they cook such delicious food? You think, gosh, I wish someone could cook those for me. In fact, there are lots of people already selling their homemade food to their friends. We see this as a huge opportunity. So here we come. We are introducing you Alivo, the future food sharing platform. It allows people who love cooking to open their own catering stores on the website, and people who love trying new food can now buy those prepared meals. We are implementing technologies such as rating systems and data analytics to better support private caterers and buyers to make smart decisions. With Alivo, we really want to empower the individuals. If you have good cooking skills, we provide you the chance to make a better living by helping to establish your business and build up a customer base. If you love to eat, we will make sure you have a memorable food adventure experience. We created a prototype and show the process to customers for validation. Sellers can open their own catering store on Alivo, upload some pictures of the food they provide, specify price and ingredients. Buyers can browse to stores, order the meals they want, and just wait for the homemade meal to be delivered. We have interviewed 87 potential sellers and 127 potential buyers, coming from different cultural backgrounds, and all of them loved our concept. We summarized their feedback and identified some concerns from the validation process, such as delivery issues, food safety, high price of raw material, and prepared meals. We did research, talked to potential customers, consulted with lawyers, and come up with plans to turn them into opportunities. Since we want to empower individuals, we will educate and assist them to do better business. Individual marketing is expensive and takes time for one private caterer. Our platform will provide various marketing strategies, including promotion, loyalty programs, special events, public relations, and social media. We will have also multiple sales channels. Main ones are our website and mobile app, and also through our partners. We chose Toronto as our launch location, since people here have already developed their purchasing habits from private catering market. Most recent figures from Statistic Canada show Canadians spent $5.2 billion on the underground food industry within a single year. In Toronto, households currently spend $1,350 on private catering on average per year. Later, we are expanding to other places in Canada and international countries. We've made a detailed competitor analysis on both Canadian, US, and also South American markets. Here we summarize those detailed criteria into several major ones. Alivo leaves all competitors behind on all criteria. We checked and projected our competitors' metrics, and based on Toronto population, Alivo will have over 84,000 visits monthly, resulting in more than 20,000 orders per year. As you can see, we will also have multiple revenue streams, being the most representative one our order handling and payment processing fees. These streams will lead us to reach around $334,000 in our first operational year. We forecasted to reach a $3 million revenue within 5 years of operations, based on our plan to expand into a second city location within the 4th quarter and keep on establishing new locations every 2 quarters. Main costs of implementing our platform for pre-launch and first year will be $227,000. We will reach our break-even point by Q2, and as from second year, our average cost will be $230,000 on yearly basis. We have a great multicultural team coming from different professional backgrounds, including IT, data analytics, marketing, and business development. Our complementary backgrounds help us working together smoothly, learning a lot from each other, and let us enjoy the journey while we work hard to achieve our vision. We truly appreciate valuable advice from our mentors and peers. Please join the Alivo Food Adventure and let's reinvent the world.
Great. Thank you guys. Just under 5 minutes, so that's terrific. Questions from the panel?
Again, great presentation, smooth. I also appreciate the steps that you guys have taken already to, approach building a company with the right frameworks, as opposed to covering your bases on how we can achieve break-even point, what's our pricing structure. One thing is just a recurring theme, which is focus, especially when it comes to sales and distribution. I would just spend more time thinking about specifically your means of acquiring your first 100 customer. That slide, and I say this because I feel that you're a confident guy, that slide is just basically every possible marketing channel known to mankind. So you have to find the one that works well with you guys and the one that resonates with your target audience and the one that gives you a price to acquire a customer that that makes sense, a cost to acquire a customer. That's just one thing. Then another thing that I would just throw out there that just stuck is on the pricing slide. If we can just go, there's just so much going on, and there's not a single business that I've encountered or I've heard of that has built, especially at an early stage, revenue from so many different revenue streams. I would simplify it. It's very easy to make something, complex. It's very hard to make something complex simple. So I understand that you're trying to, cover all your bases, but maybe you should just take like what I've seen, and this is a company that I'd be more than glad to introduce you to. It's called CozyMeal.com. They've raised $2-3 million. It's a friend of mine. You may have heard of it. They are a marketplace that connects chefs with foodies, and the chefs can either come to your house, you can go to their house. So you have to be a chef, as opposed to anyone who likes to cook. They have some sort of arbitrary definition of what a chef is, but they have a very simple, very similar. They're definitely overlapping, but they're only based in California. And what they do is they just take a cut of the total spend. So just very simple, as opposed to all these different lines. And they don't put a membership fee on the chefs or on the consumers. So this is something to consider. And if you email me, if you get my email from Yoni after this, I'll be more than glad to just introduce you to the founder. He's one of the nicest guys. He's very kind, and he's very generous with his time. So he'd be really good for you guys to actually spend some time really talking to. He'll have lots of, domain-specific feedback.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Naguib.
Thank you.
Paulo, do you have any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I would echo Naguib about the price. Too complicated. You want to make it very easy for people to make decisions. If you have multiple choices, people just don't know what to choose. The second side is the eliminate all entry barriers. If there is, again, if you have to sign up for a subscription in order to get into the program, again, people will start thinking too much, and many of them won't sign up until the whole system picks up. And so simplify.
I'll tell you guys a quick experience that blew our minds. We, for 6 months, were too afraid to remove what we call the pay-as-you-go option, an option where a student puts in their credit card and they only pay for the minutes that they spend with the tutors. But we always wanted our students to be subscribers, but we were worried that if we only gave them the subscription options, we'd lose a big segment of our users because they just don't want to subscribe right away. They want to put in their credit card, try pay-as-you-go before they end up subscribing. So for 9 months, we're just improving our messaging, improving our marketing, Facebook ads, doing everything instead of just working on that one screen that has those 3 options. And then we got to a point where we're like, fuck it, we're going to remove the pay-as-you-go option. We expect our costs, our conversions to go down, since now we're forcing people to subscribe. And in reality, our conversions went up. So it just blew everyone's mind. And we spent 9 months of like venture money, just iterating and iterating on things when we could have just done that. And it was because we were so afraid to just not offer that. So just be sure that that sort of mindset exists in your decision making. To just try things out earlier and not to be afraid to have something very simple.
Okay, thank you.
That's a really good feedback. Thank you.
I think what I was thinking about is, at least in the U.S. Bay Area, this is a really crowded space. There's a couple of other competitors that weren't on your slide. Munchery, which I've used a few times, Blue Apron. There's another like Airbnb for cooks called Eat With. So, obviously being a crowded space and lots of competitors isn't a reason not to enter. But it means that you've really got to have everything lined up in terms of being very specialized in terms of what sets you apart from the competition and where your competitive advantage is, and being able to very clearly articulate what makes you different. Maybe the Canadian market isn't as competitive in this area, so it might be that there's a difference in the market. But the user experience being really smooth is going to be important, and the execution is going to be really critical. So clearly it's a big market, and that's why so many people are entering. But there's some special considerations here because it's such a competitive market, or at least if it's not in Canada currently, will be soon.
Yeah, I have a comment on this. When we did the competitor analysis, most the popular food catering company, we found that they are located in the Bay Area. That's why one of the reasons that we don't really select San Francisco Bay Area is because we know there is a very big competition over there. As Canadians, we are very jealous of the service, and we want to bring it into the country too.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely been enjoying all of the venture capital subsidized food delivery in the Bay Area. Okay, terrific. So thank you guys very much. Nice presentation. I think the team's gonna end here, and then we're gonna deliberate offline, and we'll announce winners on Twitter and on social media.
Is it working now? Hello?
Oh, yeah, we can actually hear you, Yoni.
Oh, great. Sorry for that microphone issue. So thanks a lot, everyone. And yeah, I will just share with you the next session, actually, just here. So we are organizing part 2 of Technology Entrepreneurship beginning of July, like in 10 days. So it's the continuation of a course that the 5 team present here just took. So we really encourage you to take it. We will organize a Twitter chat, many activities. So really just come. And yeah, we'll announce the winners very soon. Thanks a lot, teams.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And thanks a lot to Yoni and to Naguib and Paulo for participating, and congrats again to all the teams.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.